I see you've finally arrived. Before we get started on this new adventure, allow me to ask the following question. Are you familiar with the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game? Oh, don't be silly. I know you are. Would you like to know the story so far? You better hold on to something. This will be a wild ride. A long time ago, in November 2020, a man by the name of TCGWolf set out into the world of YouTube to follow his dreams of becoming a Yu-Gi-Tuber. He opened packs, cracked some horrible jokes, and did his best to construct a competitive shadow deck. But alas, not all who try can succeed. Through sheer devotion to his work, Wolfie pushed the series into 30 episodes, but couldn't come out victorious. He made me lose all of my savings to Murchi. All he needed to do was win, and he couldn't even do that. So to make absolutely sure this won't happen again, I sent Wolfie into the digital world. No, not the Determin one. I'll make sure he learns a thing or two while he's there. If he doesn't, he won't make it back out again.
Yeah, enough of that already. So just because I lose in the Dragoon Cup, she places me in something she calls the virtual world, and I mean, I'm just in some sort of anime high school student's room, aren't I? Then again, I suppose it could be worse. Wait, how am I supposed to do anything here? She took literally every card that I own. Oh, the plot. Great. Alright, almighty trash can. What could you possibly have for me? I don't know what I expected coming out of a trash can. But ooh, is that a dual disc? Sweet, I always wanted one of these. I have no fucking clue how that fit in the trash can, though. Now, the real question is going to be, how the hell does this work?
2 hours later.
Right, so if everything's connected and I push this... Hello? Is anyone there? Did I manage to teleport someplace useful and not just into, the void?
Oh, a new customer. Welcome. I have no idea how you made it in here, considering I'm on a rock in the middle of nowhere. But I got no complaints. If you got DP to spend, then I got the products for you.
Haha! I have mastered the art of teleportation! But what is DP? You mean, like the Yu-Gi-Oh games? Duel points?
Yes, dual points. What else would it be?
That could literally mean a ton of things out there, but more pressingly, how do I actually obtain some dual points? Because product sounds like something I want, considering what the trash can gave me.
The trash can? You know what, it's best I don't ask. Dual points are earned through, what else, dueling. The better you do, the more you get. Thanks to that spiffy dual disc you have there, it's recorded automatically. You'll also earn a passive income every week, which is decided by your level, or LV for short.
That's surprisingly handy. You wouldn't mind checking if I have any right now, would you? Also, I never asked your name.
I am totally overpowered duelist, dude. TODD for short. Now about your DP. You seem a bit lost. Just hit the top part of the dual disc with your hand, and you'll find out.
Wait, really? That's all I had to do? Well, shit. Now that we know that, though, how about I actually spend some of that DP on some product, because improving these structure decks is going to be essential. I see that you have a selection up there, but can I just choose them on my own?
No can do, I'm afraid. If it helps though, we change our supply every week. Who knows what might show up. Now, feel free to browse at your leisure. I'll be over here if you need anything.
Right, well I suppose that makes enough sense. We have a random assortment of product every week, we receive some money every week regardless of how we do in duels, and if we perform well, we get more. Fair enough, that means we have 1,000 DP to spend today on, well, not exactly the greatest selection, I suppose. Fusion and Forces is interesting, so is Invasion Vengeance, Code of the Duelist, and Blazing Vortex. You know what? I'm actually kind of interested in Blazing Vortex, because we could, if we're incredibly lucky, pull the Pot of Prosperity, which could help us down the line, I suppose. So you know what? We are going to invest that 1000 DP into 4 packs of Blazing Vortex, and we'll see where that gets us. In addition to that, of course, we already have our structure decks that we need to open up, so hey, why not? Right, so how do we actually, like, open these packs? Oh. You know, I'll be honest, this isn't exactly what I was expecting, but hey, I suppose I shouldn't be complaining. Let's see if I can't make this goddamn thing work, then. Alright, well here goes nothing. We have 4 packs of Blazing Vortex to attempt to boost our deck. Our first card is Dogmatic Genesis, Raging Storm Dragon, whatever, Warrock Ordeal, Parametalfoes Fusion, S-Force Showdown, Spriggan's Call, Dual Avatar Ascendance, and Warrock Basileos. Oh, that's a crappy ultra rare right there. I don't like that at all. Alright, in our next one, we have a Splendid Iron Dash Dragon, Arm Dragon Lightning, Knight of Armor Dragon, Ancient Warrior Saga Shulky's Path, Giga Thunder Giclops, Warcraft Skylar, Virtual Brigade Sun Yu, and Psychic Razor Laser actually might be worth playing because it's removal. Haha! Alright, third pack. Pendulum Encore, Dream Mirror Recap, Arm Dragon Lightning, Parametalfoes Fusion, Tri-Brigade Rendezvous, Warrock Orpus, Warrock Ordeal, and Parametalfoes Azortless. Don't think we're going to be playing that, but hey, that is a super, so no complaints. And then, for our last pack, Knight of Armor Dragon, Arm Dragon Lightning, Spriggan's Pidor, Armor Dragon Ritual, Stairway to a Fabled Realm, Reinforcement of the Army's Troops, Digital Bug, Regular Strider, and Greater Polymerization. There's a lot of Ultras and Supers, and all of them are really bad. Shocking surprise with a bad set, but hey, at least there were some packs. Right, I guess I'll see you back at headquarters in a moment, and we'll attempt to build our week 1 deck. So, shocking absolutely nobody, our deck for this week is going to be Machina structure decks. For those that didn't know, back about a month or 2 ago, we decided to hold a vote for the entire community to vote on where we wanted Season 2 to start. You had every single structure deck at your disposal, and you picked Machina. I am so disappointed in all of you, but I am not one to give up, and I will make this work somehow. Let's go through one of the structure decks by itself, just so you kind of understand what we have to deal with in terms of 3s. The entirety of the structure deck revolves around Machina Citadel. It cannot be normal summoned or set, and must be special summoned by a card effect. Any card effect, to be fair. Its quick effect is that you can target one machine monster you control and destroy it, and all monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. Then, if a face-up Earth machine monster you control except Citadel is destroyed by battle or card effect, while Citadel is in your graveyard, you can special summon it. Basically, it acts like a Raigeki on legs that keeps coming back if your opponent interacts with your board. It's surprisingly beefy. Actually, Citadel is not a horrible boss monster, it's just its condition and the rest of the deck around it that makes it that much less great. It includes one extra win condition that we will never use, Machina Force. Also cannot be normal summon a set and can only be special summoned by Commander Covington. Covington, as a lot of you know, is an absolutely horrible card. You can pay 1,000 life points to declare an attack with the card. It has 4,600 attack for some reason. You can send the card you control to the graveyard to target one soldier, sniper, and defender in your graveyard and special summon them. The card's really bad. We will never be playing it, but it is included. Let's take a quick look at those cards. Commander Covington, of course, is that you can send one Machina Soldier, Sniper, and Defender to the graveyard to special summon Machina Force from your hand or deck. These need to be on the field, mind you. Then, of course, we have the Machina Soldier. When this card is normal summon while you control no other monsters, you can special summon one Machina monster from your hand, except Soldier, meaning you could cheat out something like a Sniper, which cannot attack Machina monsters except for Sniper when it's on the field. Also, really, really bad. Lastly, of course, we have Machina Defender, which adds a Commander Covington from your deck to your hand if it is flipped up. These cards are all terrible. They don't do anything for the deck, and they are far too slow to be played in any realistic sense whatsoever. Then we also have a Snowplow Hustle Rustle, which my Discord will pester me with, because I forgot this was in here. But basically, if an opponent's monster declares a direct attack while you control any card in your spell and trap zone, you can special summon this card from your hand and destroy as many cards in your spell and trap zones as possible. If you do, deal 200 damage for each one destroyed. This is basically a free special summon on your opponent's turn, given that you have something to sacrifice for it. It's not good, but it could save our life considering it has a very beefy 3000 defense. We then have Machina Air Raider, which is actually a decent card considering what we have to be playing for a while. You can discard one other Machina monster to special summon this card from your hand. During your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can target one machine monster you control, special summon it from your deck, one machine monster with a different name and an equal or lower level than that monster. If you do, destroy the targeted monster. This is very interesting, because if this is on the field, we can target any machine monster we control, destroy it, and special summon for free off of it. Keep in mind, Machina Raider is a very high level. It's not as high level as Citadel is, but destroying it could trigger Citadel in the graveyard, allowing us to special summon it while special summoning something else from our deck. It's pretty good, actually. Considering the game plan is just to beef out Citadel, they could definitely do some work. We then have Machina Cannon. No. We then have Machina Irradiator, which we actually do play because this does the same thing as Air Raider, except it special summons from the graveyard instead of the deck, meaning if we've run out of targets, it's actually quite handy. Then Machina Megaform, which is just Machina on steroids. We contribute it to special summon a Machina monster from our hand or deck except Megaform, and if a face-up Machina Fortress you control is sent to the graveyard where this card is in your graveyard, you can banish that fortress from the graveyard to special summon Megaform. Megaform himself is not exactly great, but he's a 2600 beat stick that keeps sticking around, so we'll probably end up playing at least one. Then, of course, we have the Machina Fortress, the key player, so to speak, for the deck. Which it really isn't, because it's just tribute fodder. You can discard a machine monster whose level total equal or more, any machine monster, to special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. Again, a very sticky target. If this card's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, we get to target one card our opponent controls and destroy it. Before resolving an opponent's monster effect that targets this face-up card, look at your opponent's hand and discard one card from their hand. Basically, he comes to the weird pseudo-protection that allows him to, well, steal a card for our opponent's hand if a monster targets it with anything, and then he's just incredibly sticky, which all of these machine monsters are for some reason. Regardless, Machina Fortress is our main way of getting into Citadel, so playing him is invaluable, at least for the time being. We're then running two more cards that need to be spoken of, Machina Gearframe and Machina Possess Storage. Machina Gearframe, of course, can add any Machina monster from a deck to our hand on summon, and it can attach itself as a union monster to anything to protect it from destruction by battle or card effect. And Possess Storage is probably one of the coolest cards in the structure deck. We can target one Machina monster in our graveyard except Possess Storage, special summon it at defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. You can target one other Machina monster you control and one spell and trap your opponent controls to return them to the hand. You can only use each effect of Machina Possess Storage once per turn. This is really interesting because we could probably bring back some big stuff using Machina Possess Storage. It's really neat, actually. Playing this at 3 is going to be great, I think. Then we have some weird support cards included in this deck. We have things like Deskbot 003 and Deskbot 001. Both of them are horrible. We're not playing them. We then have our Gen X Ally Birdman, which we are also not playing. But then we have Scrap Recycler, which if anyone has played Yu-Gi-Oh! In the last couple of formats, you know exactly what Scrap Recycler does. It just allows it to shuffle the machine back in to draw a card, and it's probably good. We then have Lefty Driver and Righty Driver, which, you know, both cards are just terrible. Machina Peacekeeper is in here as well, and our last monster is Torque Toon Gear. It's bad. Iron Call is our first spell, which, if we control a machine monster, we can target one level 4 or lower machine monster in our graveyard to special summon it, but its effects are negated, and since we don't have an extra deck, it's quite useless right now. We then have Iron Draw, which is if you control exactly 2 machine effect monsters and nothing else, we can draw 2 cards. It's okay. One of the best cards in the deck, however, is Machina Redeployment. We can discard one card to add 2 Machina monsters with different names from our deck to our hand, or discard a Machina card to add 2 Machina cards with different names, spell, trap, or monster. This thing's actually great because it searches us absolutely everything that we need at any time, and just gets more value if we discard something well, valuable in the graveyard. We get Pot of Avarice, which everyone should know what it does. We get a Ties of the Brethren, which is good if we had extra deck targets for it, so this is definitely a card we're going to stow away for now, but when we have access to it, it's going to be great. Cosmic Cyclone we also have, and Cosmic Cyclone, of course, is a staple of the format and is definitely worth it. Limiter Removal is going to be our way of OTK for the first couple of episodes, because Limiter Removal can get crazy. We then have Magnet Reverse, which does nothing. We have Unauthorized Reactivation, which is okay. It's not great. It gives us a gear frame on something, but it's not great. Machina Armored Unit is also not great. We might play one. Machina Defense Perimeter is basically if we control a level 7 or higher Machina monster, all our lower level machine monsters are protected. Supply Squad is actually really good. Once per turn, if a monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, we get to draw a card. Back to the Front, of course, allows us to special summon any monster in our graveyard in defense position. Machina Overdrive is again one of the best cards in the structure deck. We target one machine monster we control, special summon one Machina monster with a different name from our hand or deck, and if we do, we destroy the targeted monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target 3 of your machine monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard to shuffle them into your deck and draw a card. This allows us to recycle nearly the entire deck and bring out something like a Citadel whenever we want to. It's great. We then have Trap Trick, allowing us to get the Overdrive should we want to, which is also hilariously good. We have a Begone Knave, which used to be a really interactive card, but now is just kinda bad. We have Cyber Summon Blaster, which is horrible, don't use it. And we also have Solemn Strike, which is, again, a very meta-relevant card, actually. I'm surprised it's giving us this many. But that is the entire regular structure deck. So, what are we going to be playing? Welcome to Fortress Turbo. Their deck will be don't care about Fortress, and we instead try to win using Citadel. Yeah, it's really that bad. The week 1 deck without an extra deck is going to be absolute torture to play, but at the very least we have a single card that might make us take a game or two. Citadel is an incredibly strong boss monster, and just being able to blow up an entire board for virtually free in a deck with recyclable resources, it's okay. I mean, it's not as strong as the Shadol one is for obvious reasons, because the Shadol starter deck had us with a very strong core right from the get-go. Here we got a single card to deal with. We're also running a single Megaform because we could be able to summon it. We're running both 3 of Air Raider and Irradiator, hopefully being able to recycle the resources that we need. We are, of course, running 3 Fortress because we need this card to do anything useful. 3 Gear Frame and 3 Possess Storage, 1 to search our cards and 1 to hopefully bring back Citadel. 3 Scrap Recyclers to draw us into cards. 1 Defense Perimeter, just because we kind of can. 3 Supply Squad to hopefully outdraw our opponent. 3 of our redeployment, hoping to search for the cards that we need. 2 Cosmic Cyclone and a Limiter Removal because we need a win condition, and Galaxy Cyclone? No. Cosmic Cyclone is able to clear up most of the board that we might struggle with, and Limiter Removal is a great OTK tool. 2 Solemn Strike because Solemn Strike is still really great. 2 Back to the Front to special summon something like a Possess Storage that could bring back something bigger. And 3 Machina Overdrive because that card is absolutely bonkers. We do have a side deck, however the side deck is kind of horrible. We got our 3 Disakirus in there to deal with things like Dragoon or other horrible messes we can't deal with. 1 Pot of Avarice because the spot was open. Our Psychic Eraser Laser, which can also deal with very troublesome cards. Our last Cosmic Cyclone, or our last Limiter Removal. 3 Begone Knaves that I don't think I'll ever have the chance to play. Our 1 Solemn Strike. Our 1 Back to the Front. And our 3 Trap Trick in case we need to turbo out faster. Do I expect to win anything this week? Absolutely not. I expect to be completely stomped. But I will do my best to, at the very least, take a single game. So now you may be asking yourselves, how do we actually play these matches? Last season, we aimed for a high rank on Omega, which didn't really go that well. This time around, I'm hosting my own online locals every single Sunday at 7 p.m. GMT +2. The Lupine Weekly kicks off, where anyone in the community, including you, can simply hop on the Discord and join into the event. We do a Swiss every week, and we just, we play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's fun. And hey, the top 8 of that series, when this series comes to a conclusion, will be able to join the second Dragoon Cup. I do hope to see you there, but for now, let's kick into this week's matches and watch us get stomped, I suppose. I'm gonna be honest, it sure feels weird sitting back in the commentator's chair again, but welcome to the first duel ever of Season 2, where we're going up against Darkonic, playing Chaos Max Turbo. We begin by summoning our Machina Gear Frame, getting a Fortress to hand, activating Fortress's effect to special summon itself by throwing Mega Form, setting 2 cards, and then during our opponent's draw phase, we activate our Machina, whatever the name of the card is that I will never remember, in order to bring out Citadel. Our opponent then normal summons Whitestone Legend, attempting to use Sage of Blue Eyes on it, to which we activate Citadel's effect to blow them both up. A bit preemptive possible, but we don't want him to spin into Abyss Dragon. He then reveals Alternative Dragon from his hand in order to break Mega Form, then using the effect of Darkness Metal Dragon in order to special summon it. We activate back to the front to bring back our Mega Form for next turn, and all he does is summon another egg, get a Linkaribo off the board using the effect of Darkness Metal Dragon, and passing turn to us after destroying Mega Form. It's not that hard to beat out, possibly. Our Citadel here does a lot still, so we will simply activate the Machina Overdrive in our graveyard in order to shuffle 3 machines back into the deck and get ourselves a Gear Frame. We activate Gear Frame, of course, in order to get ourselves the Machina Fortress, setting a card, activating Citadel's effect to blow up our Gear Frame in order to get over the Linkaribo, punching over the Darkness Metal Dragon. We then use the effect of Machina Fortress in our hand in order to discard Scrap Recycler in order to special summon it. In retrospect, we probably should have done that first. Our opponent then activates Melody of Awakening Dragon to draw Leveneer, as well as Chaos Max to their hand, activating Leveneer's effect in order to target all cards on the field, but Citadel blowing itself up, destroying it before it gets to do anything else. Then, of course, because our fortress is destroyed, the second Citadel in our graveyard activates. He then summons Alternative Dragon once again to destroy a monster, and at this point, we are sitting ducks. We do, however, have Fortress that can come back thanks to Megaform being very recursive in this case, setting up Fortress on the field, to which our opponent forgets how Fortress works. Activating Melody of Awakening Dragon, discarding Chaos Max Dragon, activating the effect of his Alternative Dragon, targeting our Fortress, discarding the Chaos Dragon, and letting us special summon 2 monsters, both Fortress and Citadel. They have weird names. We draw Machina Parameter for turn, activated in order to protect our monster, supposedly. We then cycle out the Megaform for another Citadel, blowing one of the Citadels up in order to destroy his Alternative Dragon, then drawing a card off a Defense Parameter in order to get Gear Frame. Gear Frame, of course, will summon itself and beat in for a hefty chunk of damage, then in the main phase 2, equip itself to Citadel to make sure it can't be destroyed by effects. At this point, our opponent simply decides to activate Bingo Machine Go and realizes that the jig is up. In game number 2, our starting hand is weird. We are forced to go second this time against Chaos Max, which is weird, but Darkonic will activate Melody of Awakening Dragon, pitching the Abyss Dragon, then activating Chaos Form in order to special summon the Big Chonker. The issue is we don't have a lot to deal with the Big Chonker currently. We activate our redeployment, pitching a Citadel in order to draw 2 cards to our hand, special summoning Fortress, setting 2 and passing turn. I'm a bit stupid because I set this in defense position, which is unfortunate. And we get overran, if not for Overdrive. Overdrive, of course, will activate summoning a Citadel, which, destroying the Fortress, will bring back another Citadel, which is then followedly destroyed by the Big Chungus. At this point, we activate back to the front. We draw the best card in the deck, and we declare to our opponent that the jig is up. Normal summoning Scrap Recycler, and on voice chat, he immediately realizes it's over, and that's it. For match number 2, we're playing up against Card yeah, whatever, and he's playing Cynets. Our starting hand isn't that great either, but we do manage to get out our Fortress Parameter as well as an Overdrive set, but Cynet Codec comes down immediately, followed by the normal summoning of Lady Debug, which brings Microcoder to the hand. Of course, Backup Secretary has to be in the hand, which goes immediately into Splash Mage, where we go Overdrive into Citadel, breaking our Fortress. At this point, I should have activated Fortress's effect, because that would have allowed me to survive, but unfortunately, I'm stupid. Backup Secretary comes back into Shooting Code Talker, which is going to bring Scriptron to hand. And there's access code. Crap. Cynet Codec is going to activate, of course, and give the card to hand, as well as Cynet Fusion, and at this point, you should just realize that we're basically dead. However, he says, you know what? Have a turn. You deserved it. We tried a limiter removal, and we're met with an Ice Dragon's Prison, and then we attempt to use our Air Raider in hand, and it's met with Cynet Conflict. Yeah, he had an out for absolutely everything we tried to do here, and there was no match whatsoever. We attempt to use Overdrive to shuffle 3 cards back into the deck, draw 1, we get ourselves a redeployment, which isn't going to help us. Main phase 1, we see Access Code Talker activate its effect, and we already know it's over. Cynet Miner comes in, and we scoop them up. Game number 2, there's not much we can side here, all things considered, but we will go our Gear Frame, which gets ashed. Crap. We then go for the Machina redeployment, throwing a Scrap Recycler to get Citadel and Megaform to hand. We activate the effect of Fortress to special summon it by throwing Citadel, then we equip the gear frame to it, hoping it will survive a single turn with a strike in the back row. But, of course, Duster! We don't get to have a back row because having fun is not for us. Ash Blossom gets normal summon, which gets linked into the Almirage, which makes Backup Secretary live special summoning it, and then making Splash Mage. Splash Mage brings back Backup Secretary, which makes Transco Talker. Transco Talker bringing back the Splash Mage, of course, which is going to be linked off into, you know what? Xcode Talker. Oh, okay. Well, that was unexpected, I suppose. Xcode Talker will throw Dotscaper into the graveyard, which will special summon Dotscaper, which will, of course, make the big bad boy himself, which is about to break the entirety of my dreams. Citadel, of course, gets special summon again thanks to Fortress being destroyed, but that doesn't matter because we're forced to blow it up immediately to not lose on the first attack. We do, however, survive one extra turn, which I suppose is kind of neat. We draw a Supply Squad for turn, which doesn't exactly help us, as I don't think we have a single card in the deck except Psychic Eraser Laser that actually deals with access code, but we are able to bring back Fortress, hoping that we can do something off of it. Access Code Talker, of course, gets activated, breaking our Supply Squad, breaking our Fortress, which is going to bring back Megaform and Citadel, which, of course, is not much help because he simply beats over one of them and destroys the other. At this point, he ends his turn, and we have one more turn to live, drawing into Possess Storage. Possess Storage will, of course, be normal summoned, because on this show, we go out on our own terms, bringing back the Citadel, and we scoop them up. For match number 3, we're playing against Arakuro, and he's playing MBT's grandchild, Phantasmal. I can't believe I have to go up against this, but we do our usual starting combo now, bringing out our Fortress, protecting it, placing a Supply Squad, and you should have heard my live shock when I realized what I was playing against. He will activate Pot of Extravagance, drawing himself 2 cards, activating Signet Mining, bringing in Leotron to hand, and at this point, I had no clue what was happening. Leotron gets normal summon, he sets 3, punches into our Machina Fortress, which would have been destroyed if not for Gear Frame. Metaverse gets activated, and there is your boy. We attempt to Cosmic Cyclone it, but it gets judgmented, meaning he actually wasted half of his life points for that. We activate Redeployment, throwing our Overdrive to get ourselves a Citadel, but then Pacifist, the Phantasm City, of course activates, and here comes the tokens. Oh boy. We do get to summon ourselves another Fortress, and thankfully we can go in on the kill here, but we get hit with a Dogmatica Punishment. This, of course, brings back Citadel, which is unfortunate, because every single time we do anything, we're gonna get met with the Phantasm City. Like right now, he attempts to use Phantasm Spiral Battle in order to lower the attack of Citadel, which we have to use the effect of in order to blow up one of the tokens, but unfortunately that means we can't attack, so we're simply gonna bring back our Fortress in main phase 2 and end the turn. And now we're staring down the control tool. Phantasm Spiral gets activated again, negating the effect of Citadel so we can't blow things up, and it's going to bring a Spiral Bat to the hand when Leotron is summoned. Spiral Battle is going to pop our Machina Fortress, which is going to allow us to draw a card thanks to Supply Squad. We then have our Citadel beaten over, and we take a hefty chunk of damage. In main phase 2, we discard a Demise, which is going to draw in 3, but he sets 1 and discards 2 normal monsters. Oof. We draw Supply Squad for turn, which isn't exactly great, but we are going to activate it regardless, then summoning our Possess Storage. Possess Storage will bring back the Citadel in defense position, but it can't activate its effect this turn, which is going to summon a token to our opponent's side of the field, as well as drawing a Spiral Battle. At this point, we simply have to end our turn because we got nothing to do here, as he activates Signet Backdoor in order to search for Digitron. He then activates the effect to pop our back row Supply Squad using Phantasm Battle. This, of course, is going to bring back the Leotron, normal summoning the Digitron, which we use the Citadel's effect to blow everything up. It's basically the best time we could do it, but of course Pacifist is going to activate, allowing to special summon 1 token. We do draw a card thanks to Supply Squad, but it's not exactly one of the best cards we could have drawn, but it'll have to do. With Megaform, however, it gets a lot better. We'll activate Redeployment here, pitching the Megaform, which triggers a Trap Trick, setting a Torrential Tribute. We draw ourselves a Gear Frame as well as a Citadel to hand, normal summoning the Gear Frame in order to get ourselves a Fortress. Fortress is going to be special summoned, and Citadel is going to be pitched, which triggers the Torrential Tribute, which triggers the Supply Squad, which triggers the Citadel, and the Megaform, which is going to be enough to beat in for game, despite the token summoning. He has no targets of traps left in the deck, and we'll take it. For game number 2, our starting hand is great. Machina Redeployment is a good card, but it is limited to once per turn, so we'll pitch the Air Raider in order to draw ourselves the 2 card that we do for our usual combo, getting our Fortress on board, normal summoning the Possess Storage in order to bring the Citadel back so we're ready to blow up when the city hits the field. He then draws his card for turn, and what do you know? It's a Math Mech deck! He uses Mathmech's effect, and we are stupid enough to trigger Citadel's effect to blow up Possessed Storage, ending the turn there, thankfully, as he's not able to bring out a second one. On the other hand, though, he does have the Phantasm City, so we're forced to use another redeployment, pitching redeployment to get Overdrive and Citadel to hand. I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking here. This, of course, creates a token and draws him a Phantasmal Spiral Power to hand. At this point, we set 2 cards, and we're hit with a Dogmatic Punishment on our fortress. We're just going to blow up the fortress and keep our Citadel on board. At this point, we simply do not go in for the attack because we know he has the power he could use as a quick effect, so we simply pass. His power gets hit anyway, and at this point, we activate the Overdrive to destroy our fortress, destroying our Citadel to get a fortress on board instead to protect us from not losing a monster here. It doesn't end up mattering too much as we activate our Overdrive to shuffle 3 machines back into the deck to draw a card, and we draw into Supply Squad, which is actually a really good card here. We're going to activate Supply Squad, go into battle, and beat over one of his tokens using our Fortress, and simply pass turn with a Citadel in hand. Boss K is going to normal summon the Leotron, which of course is going to search one of the traps, which is going to be Spiral Power, which he is going to activate immediately, targeting our Fortress, but we activate back to the front, bringing out our Citadel once more. So despite the token at this point, he is forced to use his Torrential Tribute here to clear the field, basically. He then summons another token and plays Soul Drain, which I thought was actually going to end me because all the effects I need to do are in the graveyard. And then I learned that Fortress's summoning effect is not an activated effect. It's static, so I can do it whenever I want. Ooh boy, we do summon it back and go in for the punch of 500, which procs a Signet Mining that goes into Mathmech Diameter. Diameter being a very good card in this specific case. Diameter is going to bring back Leotron, but I use my back to the front once more to bring back Citadel. Citadel's going to activate its effect, blowing itself up, clearing the field, letting me draw a card off of my Supply Squad. At this point, we have 2 Begone Knaves in hand, and we simply proceed to the battle phase after setting them, punching for 2500 and passing turn, making very sure to not spawn any additional tokens for our opponent. He then sets 1 monster, which we know is a normal monster, so we don't have anything to worry about, as we go in for another Citadel, which again doesn't count as an effect, so it doesn't spawn a token. We beat over another Mathmech, getting him dangerously low to losing the game. He draws what could be his final card for turn, and passes to us. We, for the shenanigans, of course, decide to activate both Begone Knaves, allowing him to special summon a token, because I can't read cardboard. He also attempts to search, but he doesn't have a target left in deck, and we take another game. What the fuck is going on? Our last match of today is actually very interesting, because we're playing up against good friend of the channel, Mr. Zombie Man, aka Mothman, aka Osley, and he has taken on the Sealed Only challenge with us, despite me recommending him not to. He has decided to start off with 3 of the Zombie Horde structure decks, surprising nobody in our Discord. However, he is playing it alongside us, and I find that to be hilarious. He will activate his Call of the Mummy, getting himself the Red Eyes Zombie Dragon on field, which we destroy using Citadel. He then normal summons Unizombie, which dumps a Necrobolt Banshee, of course, activating Zombie World and trying to Monster Gate, but hitting Zombie Master instead of something like Baladrock. He uses it to punch over our Possessed Storage, but with a Fortress on board, we're looking great. Needlebung Nest comes out, which does actually dump Baladrock before the standby phase, but we hit with Cosmic Cyclone the Zombie World to make sure that it's basically useless. Machina Redeployment will come out, grabbing us Possessed Storage as well as Fortress, normal summoning the Possessed Storage, of course, to bring back the Citadel, then swapping our Fortress into attack position, beating over one of his monsters, leaving Baladrock on board because, hey, I'm a silly, silly man. At this point, he normal summons the Solitaire when I go ahead and shade in the effect of Citadel to blow everything up, and the first game is looking like it's easy. We then get ourselves another Fortress on board, going in for as much damage as we possibly can, bringing poor old Mouthman to 700 life points. But that might just be enough to win. He sets 1 card in the back row, passes the turn to us, and we go in for it. Metaverse comes out, which does bring out Zombie World. Baladrock special summons itself back against the standby phase, but he has no zombie monster that triggers an effect, so we simply go in and we end game 1. Game number 2, we now know how much danger we're in because Zombie World kills our entire deck. Because guess what? Every single activated effect we have in the deck currently requires a machine monster. Zombie World makes them all zombies. He normal summons Unizombie and does the usual Zombie World shenanigans, getting Zombie World onto the board using Necrobolt Banshee and banishing a glow-up Bloom in order to summon Baladrock. At this point, we have very, very little we can do, because a negate is really hard for us to play through. We do set 2, summoning our Gear Frame, but Gear Frame gets negated by Balladrock, unshockingly, as we summon Irradiator. Irradiator has no target to bring back, so we're simply forced to set our cards and pass turn, where I know we could have just punched into Unizombie, but my brain wasn't turned on at this point. This, of course, will trigger the normal summon of Solitaire, which triggers Balladrock to banish the Gear Frame, increasing the level of our Irradiator, bringing out another Balladrock, and this is looking horrible. Here comes Red Eye Zombie Dragon and Zombie Necronize, which is Snatch Steal for zombies. Yeah, needless to say here, we're dead. We activate Begone Knave, not that it will do anything, just bringing the card back to hand. We'll activate our second Begone Knave and scoop them up for a 1-1. So, for the somewhat important game number 3, what could possibly happen? Game number 3, we're once again going first, and our starting hand is looking a lot better this time around compared to how it was before. We bring out ourselves the Fortress, we get ourselves an Irradiator, set 1 card, and we pass to Osley. He will draw his card for turn and then realize that, hey, Zombie World's a good card, so he'll get Call of the Mummy onto the board, special summoning a zombie, which is going to be Unizombie. Unizombie activates its effect, to which we Solemn Strike, knowing that we can do it. He then goes into Zombie Master and Book of Life, banishing our Citadel, normal summoning the Zombie Master. At this point, he goes into the Red Eyes Necro Dragon, beating over our Fortress, but forgetting that Fortress has a second effect. If it's destroyed, I can destroy 1 card on the field. We draw Cosmic Cyclone for turn, which of course doesn't do anything unless we're specifically hitting Zombie World, but we bring back our Fortress using a Radiator, punching it for 2500, setting the Cosmic Cyclone and passing turn. For turn, I shit you not, Zombie World. We hit it with Cosmic Cyclone without a second thought. He then passes turn back to us when we have a very good play. We get ourselves a Gear Frame for turn, so we normal summon the Gear Frame, of course, bringing a Possess Storage to hand for next turn. We go into the battle phase, bead in for any damage that we can do, simply activating Gear Frame to protect our poor Fortress, and it's top deck versus top deck here, buddy. What's it gonna be? He activates Call of the Mummy, special summoning Gozuki. Gozuki, of course, will send Mizuki from the deck to the graveyard. Activating Mizuki will bring back the Unizombie, but at this point he realizes that he doesn't have a way to bring Balladrock onto the board in Zombie World at the same time, so he goes out any way a man would, by punching into a machine. Look, I don't know either. I told my community that, hey, this is the week this is gonna kick off, so bring your best, and, well, I'll give him this. I did not expect to even win once. Why on earth did this take 3-1? I can't get over it. This is so stupid. I will give the deck this, though. It is surprisingly consistent in bringing out Citadel. Even with just 3 structure decks, this thing is really recursive, and it's quite a powerhouse, all things considered. But before we end off today's episode, I'd like to first of all apologize for the fact that this video is very long, but given that everything needs explaining and everything needs to be done, you know, it's gonna get a bit long. Further episodes will be a bit shorter. You are not gonna have to spend an hour every Sunday watching my crap. Secondly, we have one more thing to do before we end off the episode, and that is to go over the rewards. So, as we said earlier in the episode, of course we have a stable income every week that we get at the beginning of every episode. But, depending on how well we do in the Lupine Weekly, we also earn ourselves some bonuses. I'm going to go over these only once here in episode 1, and I won't touch on what they do again, more than showing them to you every week and giving some haha funnies. Duel victories gives us 50 DP for every single duel match that we win for the week. Since we won 3 times this week, that's 150. Challenges is, of course, depending on the challenge we have, which, yes, are coming back starting next episode. The clean sweep bonus is if we take an entire week without losing a match. We didn't, therefore it's failed. Meta Breaker is in case we take down a top meta threat of the format, which we did not. Rivalry is probably the funniest one. In case we score higher in the Lupine Weekly, which is the actual, tournament score, than our current rival, we earn ourselves a bonus. Our current rival this week, of course, is Osley, as he's taking on this challenge alongside us, and we finished higher than him. New cards is if we include a card from this week's opening and manage to play it. The only new card we had outside of the structure decks this week was Psychic Eraser Laser, which we never got to play. The protagonist bonus is in case we special summon or summon in general our boss monster in a duel. We summoned our Citadel in every single duel today, therefore gaining 25 DP times 4. And the final one, Comeback King. In case we are in such a detriment in a duel that only the heart of the cards themselves can save us, we might earn a Comeback King victory, which means we earn a bonus for taking ourselves out of a tough spot. Totally, we earned 350 DP from this week, which along with next week's budget, might push us into buying some interesting product. With that out of the way, I'd like to thank all of you for watching this introductory episode to Season 2. I am sorry that this came out so late and that it might not be what you expected, but this is the best I can do given my circumstances. My circumstances? Unemployed. So if you'd like to support me and buy me a coffee every month so that I can survive to make this series, do check out the Patreon or YouTube membership, because it is the best way you could possibly support this poor old wolf. As for now, and as always, and I've been looking forward to saying this for a long time, stay safe out there.